Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this gigantic modern suburban mansion. I will be showing you how to make absolutely everything that you can see on the screen right here. The only thing that I won't be showing you is how to make the inside. Fun fact, this house is actually based upon a real-life celebrity's mansion. Leave a comment, let me know whose mansion you think this is, and the first person to get this right, I'll pin you to the top of the comment section. I'm hoping that you guys will get it. If you would like to support the channel, please do hit that like button as well, ladies and gentlemen. It really does help me and the channel out very, very much. I spent loads and loads of time on this, and I'm hoping that you guys do enjoy it. Thank you so much. If you do hit that like, it really does help me out loads and loads. And let's get into the tutorial. Here is the amount of space required to make your mansion a 73 by 54 block area, as represented by this giant white concrete grid on the ground, which I would recommend you make if you are placing this in a city or a suburb or somewhere like that. Like, this is huge. You're not going to want to accidentally put this somewhere that you shouldn't. Here are all of the materials required to make the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. And now that we have all of our stuff, we can get started. For those of you that have made the grid, come all the way over to the front left hand corner of it. We then want to count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 blocks inwards. We then want to count to the right 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is going to be the starting position. You know a tutorial is going to be good when you have to count almost 30 blocks in to start it. So, to begin, we have to place a smooth quartz block. Right of this, 2 upside down quartz stairs. 1, 2. Another block. 2 more stairs. 1, 2. Another block. 2 more stairs. 1, 2. Then place 2 blocks. 1, 2. Extend that second block towards you by 2 as well. 1, 2. We then want to extend to the right with the block of quartz. We want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend that 7th block towards you by 1. And then right 1. Towards you 1. And then right by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What we essentially want to do next is we want to take this shape and we want to repeat it. So we want to extend inwards 1, right 1, in 1. We want to extend right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to extend inwards by 2, so 1, 2. We then want to extend right by 1, and then we want to place 2 upside down quartz stairs, 1, 2, then a smooth quartz, 2 upside down stairs, smooth quartz, 2 upside down stairs, smooth quartz, and you should find that you are 1, 2, 3 rows away from the boundary. Now, if we take a quick look at this, both sides should be equal. And if you are 3 rows away from the boundary and it does look equal, then that would suggest that we have done it correctly. I'm making sure that this is right because the foundation is the most important part of this build. Once that's correct, everything else falls into place rather easily. Continuing on from where we left off, I want you to extend this smooth quartz here backwards. Place 2 upside down stairs. 1, 2, and then a smooth quartz. 2 stairs, quartz. 2 stairs, quartz. 2 stairs, quartz. 2 stairs, quartz. In total, you should have 5 sets of upside down stairs. We're going to come all the way over to the opposite side, as I would prefer to get both sides done before we continue. On this opposite side, we're doing a similar thing. We're going to start off with 2 upside down stairs, 1, 2, smooth quartz, 2 upside down stairs, smooth quartz. Left of this, place 2 light grey concrete, 1, 2, and then a smooth block of quartz, 2 upside down stairs, block of quartz, 2 upside down stairs, block of quartz. So, whilst both of those sides are a little bit different, they should still line up properly. So, now let's concern ourselves with the back of the build. The back of the build is significantly different to the front of the build. It doesn't even really matter which side we start on, but I prefer to go from left to right, don't even know why. So, all the way over here on the left side, we are going to take this bottom block of quartz and we're going to extend it to the right by 1. We're then going to place 2 light grey concrete. Then place 2 block of quartz and 2 light grey concrete. Place 3 block of quartz, 1, 2, 3. Extend that block of quartz towards you, also by 3, so that's 1, 2, 3. We're then going to place 2 light grey concrete going right, 1, 2, and then place a smooth block of quartz. We then have to have a gap of 2, but I don't actually want it. We'll mark it out using the light grey concrete, we can change it later, so 1, 2. And then place a block of quartz. What we then want to do is we want to extend the block of quartz to the right by 2. So 1, 2. We're going to extend it then towards us by 1. And then right by 2. 1, 2. In 1. Right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend 1 block towards you. And then right by 2. 1, 2. Extend in 1. And then we essentially want to kind of like copy what we've done opposite us. We want to place 2 blocks of quartz. And then we want to kind of just mark out 2 blocks with light grey concrete. Then place a block of quartz. Mark out 2 blocks with light grey concrete. Stick a smooth quartz block on the end. And then we want to extend inwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. We then want to extend to the right. We're going to place ourselves 2, I believe, block of quartz. 2 light grey concrete. 2 block of quartz. 2 light grey concrete. Single block of quartz. In the end, we should hopefully have something which, again, looks perfectly balanced. The entire build is balanced except for that pesky row of 2 over there. But this is essentially the floor plan for the mansion. It almost looks like a Space Invader or something. I've only just realized that. So now that we have this floor plan, we can continue on. So it makes sense to me that we kind of like start off where we started, or continue where we started, I guess. Start off where we started doesn't really make sense. Oh yeah, I guess it. Regardless of which, I want you to come all the way over to the front left-hand corner of your build. And we are going to take this corner block and we're going to raise it up by 4 using block of quartz. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark out that 4th block by placing a block going right, and then continue the row extending upwards again by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then mark that block to the right like this. We actually want to have a row of block of quartz that matches the row below us. So the row wants to stem from the second, I'll call it the second indentation that we made using smooth quartz. So that second row of 4, which we then promptly extended to the right by 1, we want to have it so that it follows the same path, mostly, I'm going to show you where it differs, mostly along the top front of the build. You actually want to stop following the path below you once you hit the second inward part. So like, we don't want to take the right wing and extend an entire row of block of quartz above it. We just want to kind of like leave it like this, as that is a separate deal all by itself. So this is what we want to have. Hopefully that's not too difficult. We want to raise up the blocks of quartz that we have at the base. The blocks of quartz that we have in between the stairs and pretty much like almost along the front, but actually we won't do that, but just this side part and this left part we want to extend upwards. We want to have a horizontal row of block of quartz in between these as well. These are all going to be windows. You can even fill them in with glass if you like. I'm using black glass. This is a very, very modern build. I feel as though it's like a modern suburban house. So it's not strictly just modern. It's kind of like modern, but a suburban style of modern. Not it's not got like all of the weird shapes that one would associate with a modern house, but it is kind of like suburban in a modern style. It's using like nice white and grey blocks, but that's what we want to have over there on the left. This is a little bit similar as well, this area here. If you take the forward facing blocks, the forward extending block of quartz, and join them upwards, you can kind of create a little, you can create kind of like a boundary. On the right, we also want to have an additional row of quartz here. And then we want to split this area in two with a vertical row of block of quartz in between. We want the same horizontal row in between these areas except made out of light grey concrete, otherwise it's the same. In addition to this, we are going to add glass panes. Notice that this area is different to the side. I wanted to break it up a little bit. So on the outer wings, I'll call them wings of the house, we have the upside down stairs and the white in between the windows. Here it's a bit more blocky and we have the light grey just to differentiate it, make it a bit different. These two rows of block of quartz here, we want to extend these forwards as well. We're going to start boxing the entrance in. So we've pretty much completed the basic structure of the left side of the house. The right side of the house isn't so different. I'm somewhat tempted to actually tackle the right side of the house so that we can focus all of our next attention on the entrance. So let's just extend all of these kind of like in-between blocks backwards. We can take the entire side here, this like side row of block of quartz that just connects to the right wing of the house. This can get extended upwards. We can add the extra row of quartz here all the way over on the left. We can split it up the middle once again. We can add the row of, that's the wrong material, we can add a row of light grey concrete, the same as we have on the opposite side there, into here, just like this. And this will give us two sets of two really nice large windows. So something like this looks pretty good. So now that we've done that, we can concern ourselves with the entrance a little bit. So when it comes to the entrance, it's kind of like a, I don't want to use the word complicated, but there's a little more going on than you might imagine. We're going to grab the smooth quartz block and we're going to half the entrance through the middle, like this. Similar to what we did with the windows, this might help us out a bit. So where we halved it, we want to take the upper half of that row and extend it towards us using a row of smooth quartz slabs, like this. The two middle rows here, this is an entrance, so left and right of this, we want to kind of like separate this area into twos, kind of like this. And I'm going to place a row of black stained glass pane around the middle of this. I want to create two small windows. This is very simple. Add a row of block of quartz at the bottom, a row of block of quartz at the top, and then a row of block of quartz inwards. And then we're going to place some glass pane like this. So now that we have done that, the area below us is relatively simple. So we want to have two windows, one on the left and one on the right, and we want to have block of quartz inwards from the window. And then I think that we're actually going to set the entrance an additional row back. But if you add, say, I don't know what you want to use as a floor, but let's say that we're going to use light grey concrete just because it's a contrast material. The actual entrance here is made predominantly out of glass. So I'm just going to place glass block here, leaving enough room for a double door, just like this. And I want to use smooth quartz stairs to create two kind of like plant pots. These are going to be immediately these are going to be extended like right out of the front of the two corners of the entranceway. So it's very simple. It's basically a row of 3 smooth quartz stairs in a circle like this, extended in front of the windows. We're going to have to grab a new material in just a second, so just 2 rows like this. We're then going to have 2 rows of smooth quartz block. We're then going to have another... I didn't use stairs clearly. We're then going to have a row of smooth quartz slabs in between. And then we're going to extend from the middle of the plant pots a row of smooth quartz slab. And then we're going to shrink it. And then we're going to shrink it again. So it kind of looks like a frog face or something, actually. Or kind of like another alien head. Why does this house just remind me of aliens constantly? So now I'm going to grab the pillar quartz block. It's not that you can tell the difference between this and other materials as much, it's just that I like a bit of change for myself as well. So I'm going to take the 2 inward corners of the plant pots and I'm going to place pillar quartz block extending upwards. It won't literally join to the overhang above the entrance, but close enough. I quite like it. What about the roof and such when it comes to the house? Well, the roof is going to start on the top here, on the left and right side, and we're going to place 2 rows of 2 quartz slabs extending outwards. We then want to extend the quartz slabs extending in and up and in and up. Eventually, these quartz slabs will join together at a, well, I always call it a double apex. It's either like an odd or an even number, and I call this one a double apex, just above where we have placed the entrance here, so like, or the exit onto the balcony. I don't quite know how one would view it. It's either an entrance or an exit, I suppose, the balcony. And we're going to place some light grey concrete just behind, and that looks pretty good to me. I'm very, very happy with the entrance in the way that it is. So now that we have done that, we can move on a little bit more. So the side of the house, and I'm just going to get rid of the pillar quartz block in favour of the smooth quartz block once again. The right side of the house here, I want to take this row of smooth quartz that we created and I want to extend it all the way back. I'm going to extend it all the way back along to the back of the house, and I'm going to also raise up the row that we have, or the few rows that we have picked up on the back of the house as well. So just a few rows of smooth quartz like this, and this is going to be great. So we're creating a solid wall here, and that is perfect. So it's we've created like a little bit of a difference on this side of the house than we'll have on the opposite side of the house. On this side of the house, we're going to take all of the blocks of quartz that we have kind of like surrounding us, and we're going to raise them all up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to just kind of like extend it to the corner. I'm going to join it down. I'm going to extend it backwards. I'm going to join it down. I don't know if I can do the same thing on the back. I'll just have to check actually. What can I do to the back? Oh, and that we can do the same thing on the back. It doesn't make a difference, so we can extend it across, and then we can take all of the quartz blocks, specifically, notice that I said quartz blocks, and we can join them up like this, and then on the sides it's the same, on the front it's the same. All of the blocks can get extended upwards. There's a lot of windows on this side of the house. That's because in my head that this is a little pool house, so it doesn't matter if you've got so many windows. And I'm going to fill all of these windows in as well using glass pane, because why not? So I'll fill all of these in. I find this easy. This sort of motion I find easier. I mean, if you're on PC or if you've got a little bit more dexterity than I have, perhaps, then you'll find it easier to do it an alternate way. But kind of like going one way top to bottom with the glass pane and then reversing and doing the same thing. This more so works when you've just got like rows of 2 to fill in, because of course they're completely filled in once 2 rows have been added. So there we go, nice and easy. That didn't take too long, pretty good. So the top of this can be turned into a floor. You can use light grey concrete for this, you can use block of quartz for this, you can use chisel quartz, you can use stone brick, you can use a varieties of whatever you want to use. I mean, literally the possibilities are almost limitless. But we can fill it in with whatever we want. Again, I'm using light grey concrete because it just seems to go in my mind. So now that this part of the house is, we're starting to define it a little bit more. What we want to do is on the right side of the house here, we have a couple of windows, right? So we've got this window here and this window here on the back of the house. Well, the split between this window and this window, this row of block of quartz, I want you to extend it upwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the right side, I want you to extend this here up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these will eventually connect together in some sort of way. I believe that if we place stone brick stairs, kind of like on the outside here, and we extend the stone brick stairs upwards, it should kind of like just join together into, and eventually like we'll make a flat roof, kind of like this. So this will be where the top of the flat roof is. And if we have another row of 4 extending upwards from this corner here as well, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and we can place a row of black stained glass pane in between these rows, then that gives us a nice little balcony area. This row here, this entire row of like 6, can get extended inwards towards the center. However, the thing about this is that we do have to carve a little bit of detail into this wall. So we need an entrance onto the balcony here, basically, like number 1. So this entrance, I mean, if we leave a gap of 2 here, and then I think it kind of like complies with, no, it doesn't, but that's okay, it doesn't really matter. We'll leave a gap of 2 here, and then we'll have like maybe a row of 3, and then we can have like another row of 2, and then we can dig out a row of 2, something like that. Or maybe like we can have a row of 3 and a row of 3 above this entrance area. Maybe if we stack a row of quartz slabs like this, we could even use a little bit of pillar quartz block to kind of like highlight the entrance, just like this. And then in which case perhaps we could even have the quartz slabs another row higher like this, and maybe we could even like extend it down, and we could make it look a little bit more interesting rather than just like the normal, or I don't know if that extends out far too much then, but you guys get the idea. And then we can, this window here, maybe we separate this window from the entrance, like this, create a little gap of 2. And then we can fill this in using quartz slabs like so. Maybe we kind of like stick to something that's a little bit more tried and tested. Maybe we just stick a row of quartz slabs just above this, and then we can attach some lanterns to it as well. And then I think that will look pretty good later on. So this is how this side of the house is shaping up. And of course, as I mentioned, like if we have a row of stone brick stairs, kind of like in front of the row of 4 quartz, smooth quartz here, and then we want to have, basically we just want to extend up, I don't know how many rows, 4 in total maybe, so 1, 2, and then this would be 3. And then I think that this would be the final row, and then this would be 4, right? And then we can stick these stone bricks on the end, we can extend it all the way backwards, and then we can stick these stone brick stairs on the end here, and then down, just like this. And then that's perfect. And then that's kind of like how the side of this will look. We can fill this back portion in here using quartz. You don't need too many windows everywhere. Like below us doesn't matter as much because that's a pool house. It's meant to have quite a lot of windows, allow some natural light in, and it'll look quite good. But on the right side here, and I'm just checking what I did on the back, we can have a couple of windows on the back, however, I suppose. So on just up above here, we're going to create the same splits in the windows that we have down below using block of quartz. And then we're going to have just straight up 3 rows of glass just above these, making solid windows. They're just 2 rows of 3 glass pressed together. And then we can have the stone brick stairs extend inwards like this. We can extend the other stone brick stairs inwards. We don't want them to extend into the wall though, where we would have a wall here. We want to leave that be. And then we can just extend these stairs in. All of these want to, oh, my bad, so extend this here. When we start extending the actual like main roof, when we do the actual large roof that tackles pretty much the entire middle part of the house, the largest part of the roof for the house, then we can start adding like other parts of the interior wall, and we can start making sure that everything lines up properly. But for now, this is pretty good, and we haven't made the back of the house yet, so it doesn't quite make sense to start the actual main roof. But as we are working on this side, I mean, it just seemed to go together rather nicely, so you can kind of see how that's shaped together. That will look even better once we add some stuff to the inside of here, and once we add some lanterns and such. That'll look really good. What about the little back part? That is looking pretty good too. We will continue around the back later, but for now, I'm going to switch all the way over onto this opposite side, and this side is actually a lot easier than that side that we've just tackled. So on this side, I'm going to recommend that first of all you take the top corner of the front of the house, the top front left hand corner as it is, extend it back and join it down to the back corner of the house. So same side, just the opposite corner, or rather the back corner, same side. It's not the reverse corner or not the opposite corner, it's just the back one. We can extend all of the rows of block of quartz upwards as well to create these separations. We can place a horizontal row of block of quartz all in between the windows. Oh, I missed one. There we go. And then we can add all of the glass. So you only want to fill in the 2 sets of windows on the front and the back. So basically, the 2 sets of windows on the front and the 2 sets of windows on the back, leaving the middle row is what we want to do essentially. So we can have all of these filled in with glass here, and then here as well. And what is the space in between, you may be asking yourself? That is going to be a chimney. That's all it is. So I was contemplating making the chimney out of light grey concrete, but I think that probably it would make sense to use block of quartz. So, I mean, it is ultimately up to you, but I'm using block of quartz. The chimney wants to extend inwards an additional row. The chimney is essentially like a 2x2 square. Oh, my bad. And it just wants to look a little something like that. Just to extend it upwards a few rows above the windows. And we're actually going to be working out right now about how big it's going to be, because let's do the roof. We're going to be using stone brick stairs for the roof. It's the same thing that we've done on the opposite side. These stone brick stairs will start along the top of the windows, just like this. And yeah, it's the same thing on the opposite side, as you can see. And then I do think off the top of my head, it's 4 sets of stairs in total, or is it above? So like 1. We'll make sure it lines up with the opposite side, and then 2. And then 3. I have a feeling you add 4 to it. So let's just look. So in total, so you've got the 1 set, and then you add 1, 2, 3, 4. I think. And then that's the final row, I want to say. Where I'm going to run a row of... Did I just mess that up? 1, 2, 3. Yep. And then this last set, I'm sure this is the 4th row. This is the last one. I'm going to run a row of stone bricks across, and I'm just going to see if it lines up. I think it should. If memory serves. Oh, I added an extra one. Okay, my bad. So on this side, we've just got the 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. That's okay. That's perfectly fair. If you wanted to, by the way, it actually makes no impact, really. You could have this 5 rows, but I want this to be the same as the opposite side here. So this last row here, this is stone brick stairs. And then we want to have these stone bricks hang off. So it's 4 in total. We have 1. This is 2. This is 3, and then that will be 4. Perfect. So that's what we want to have, 4 rows, and then this will get extended inside the house. Now, if you want to, you can actually segment the house like this. You know how on the other side, like, we kind of like separated the house? into, we kind of like isolated 2 wings of the house. This is what I would actually do if I was to make the interior as well. I would separate the house definitely into a large sequence of rooms. Like I kind of like split the middle of the house into like a hallway, kind of like horizontally, if that makes sense. Like where the chimney breast is there, like I would have this as a hall. So it'd like come through here, and then I'd have a set of rooms on this side, a set of rooms on that side. Equally so, I would have it here, like next to the parlor. This would kind of like be a parlor, or what's the word? A foyer? A foyer, whichever word it is, some sort of French word, I think. And that would be in the middle, and then I'd have another set of rooms here, and then I'd have a pool house, and then the second story would be sat out in a similar fashion as well. Regardless of which, don't know why we went on that tangent, but that's kind of like how I see the house in my head. The only struggle would be to fill up the rooms, although you could, I'm sure that by the time you have added your standard rooms of, I'm extending the, I should mention, I'm extending the stone brick stairs inwards to where it would join towards the center of the house, as the house is made up into only 3 roofs. We only have 3 roofs on this house, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, my actual house has just bought 1 roof, and you know, but this has got 3. One isn't enough, so we're doing the 2 outer roofs, which are the 2, and then of course we have the largest one, which is the center. So I'm joining it to where it will be connecting. I'm not extending inwards past the wall or into the wall. I'm extending it so that it will be so that it will join to it on the side. I'm going to fill just underneath in here. It might actually be easier from the inside in using smooth quartz, so just like this. As I was saying, but once you have added your living room, dining room, perhaps a study and a kitchen, and you've got the foyer and you've got the pool house, the lower level will actually be quite easy to fill in. And then you've just got like loads of stuff that you can add to the second floor. So nice. So that is what we want to have. The chimney wants to extend up at the very least 2 rows up above this roof, I think. So that is this side part of the house complete. I'm very, very happy with that. I think that looks good. Oh, we've also got the back of this as well, but this is actually an imitation of the opposite side. I shouldn't say imitate. It's the exact same thing. It's not even mirrored. It's literally the same thing. So if you raise up the blocks of quartz here so that they would join and connect to the roof, and we want to have the same horizontal row of block of quartz that we have present throughout the entire house, really. There's only one little part that I can think of in my mind where we don't have like a horizontal row of quartz present throughout the entire house. It's actually the continuity with this house is pretty great. That's why I quite like it. Like it's almost symmetrical, but not quite. Like it just throws you off a little bit. So you can see we've got a huge portion of the house made now. Very, very happy with it. Very, very much like how it's turned out. So speaking of symmetrical, the back of the house here, this middle part, is indeed symmetrical. What can we do? You can, if you like, start off by raising up. You see these parts that kind of like stick out here. You can raise up the 2 blocks on both sides. You can raise these up so that they're as high as the block of quartz that we have kind of like surrounding us, if that makes sense. So you can see you can extend that upwards, and then just here on this opposite side we can extend this upwards as well so that it is as high as well, and this here. So when I mentioned that pretty much not all of the house has the horizontal row running through it, this is the exception pretty much. We have 2 large modern looking windows. This differentiates it from the front of the house. So instead of having like a carbon copy, this is what we have. We have like these 2 very modern looking rows. We're going to join them together at the top. We're going to place a row of light grey concrete behind them, joining them together in the middle. So like this, creating a bit of depth. We do also want a row of, we can add that later actually. So next to these, we also want to have like, we want to raise up the outer parts of these rows of quartz. We want to extend them up to the top, and then we want to extend them across the top as well. So if that makes sense, like we want to create 2 boxes. So we want to add an inward row of quartz here, up the side, and then across the top. We want to have horizontal rows of quartz extending through these 2 sides, so here and here, like this. We want to have an extra row of quartz here on the inward side, so we want to extend the quartz from you can already see it, like on the foundation you want to extend it upwards, and you want to create the same separations that we have around us, so here and here, just like this. What else do we want to do? We really could do... Oh, we also want to have a horizontal row of light grey concrete in between the big window in the middle. So kind of like here as well, right? Or you can use block of quartz. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of like your personal choice. So how do I do this, ladies and gentlemen? The thing about this is the back of the house is almost raised a little bit. I say almost raised. It is literally raised. So let's make the big giant like concrete slab that the back of the house sits on, and then we can add some further details. So on the left and right back corners of the house, I want you to place rows of 9 block of quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're then going to extend them inwards by 9 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then a row of 7 stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there will be a bit of smooth quartz in between, but I don't know the measurement of that, so we're going to come over to the opposite side, and we're going to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Extend it inwards by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 7 stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can just have a row of smooth quartz in between. So, when I said that this is pretty much a platform, that literally is. So what we then want to do is we want to fill the middle of this in. We are also going to add some organics into this as well, meaning some leaves and some grass. We'll do that later. And this is basically just going to be a big giant platform. So what this does is it raises the height of the back of the house. It allows us to kind of like... I don't know how to describe it really, but in having this platform, like it's almost like a little terrace, and then it allows us to create a bit more depth and a few different levels and altitudes. Like it just makes the back of the house all that more interesting, like climbing down. And it also, the front of the house is also raised a little bit as well. The floor for this house is meant to be placed like in line with the bottom of the house, level and even with the bottom of the house, if that makes sense. So as you are stepping out, you have a nice little not a balcony, kind of like a terrace really, and that you can like just drop down. Like it's quite nice. It makes sense with the design of the house. So we have a couple of entrances on the back of the house. We have one here and one here. These are rather easily made. It's very simple. It's basically you just want to... We can use the... I keep whipping this out. The pillar quartz block. We can place a row of 1, 2 pillar quartz block. 1, 2... Hang on. 1, 2 pillar quartz block like this. And then we can join it together. Actually, do we join it together at the top? What did I do here? I wish I had a clearer picture. Okay, yeah, okay. So I think that we actually use... Yeah, we place an entire row of smooth quartz slab on top of it. Then we leave half a gap, and then another row of smooth quartz slab. You can then fill the top of this in using glass, and then this is basically just the entrance. So here, and then on this opposite side here, so a row of 1, 2 pillar quartz, 1, 2 pillar quartz. And then we want to fill the top of this in with glass, leave half a row, smooth quartz slab, and then half a row. Oh, and we also... Oh, my bad. I've done this wrong. Okay, so we add the row of smooth quartz slab across the top of the pillar quartz. We leave half a row's gap, and then we have smooth quartz slab, just like this. So I messed that up. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing for you. These two inward modern shapes, I want you to join them together at the bottom now that we have the platform, and you can fill them in using glass pane like this. We're also going to add glass pane all over the place. So we're going to fill these two middle central windows in using black glass pane. So here and then here, just like this. And then we're going to fill these windows in using black glass pane like so. Here, here, and here. And also here, here, and here. Also here. just like that. Perfect. So this is what you want to have on the back of the house. Not too complicated, I think. I'm pretty happy with that. And it'll look even better once we add like all of the hedging and all of the greenery. It'll look way, way better, honestly, trust me. So, on the back of the house, what do we want to do? Now that we've kind of like done all of the details on the front, the back, the sides, how do we do the roof? The roof's very easy, I think, hopefully. We want to have a row of, and I do want to make sure that this is correct. We want to have a row of stone brick stairs. I don't think they even extends over. I think that the, by the looks of it, the stone brick stairs are basically, they sit on top of the, like, the two modern shapes that we have here. So, like, it sits on that outwardly. And then, like, we just extend it outwards. And it wants to overhang the sides of this, like, middle part here just by one row. And then we want to extend this inwards and upwards. I like to do it at the edges here. Like, I like to add upside down stairs and then regular facing stairs, like extending all the way up to the top. So just like this. What we're going to do is, I can't remember whether the top of the roof is flat or whether it's an apex. Off of the top of my head. Again, it'd be a lot to remember. So I think that what we're actually going to do is we're going to line it up with the side roof here. So the last regular facing stone brick stairs here is going to line up with this one. Does that make sense? So like on the side of the roof here, you can see we have the stone brick stairs. We want to have the same thing here. And then we're going to have a row of stone bricks extending. And then we want to have the same. I think that this is how it lines up. If not, this is just, we can alter it anyway. So on the front of the house, let's start extending it upwards from here. On the front of the house, we also want to have a row of stone brick stairs as well. This is going to basically, it's going to sit above and outside the tops of the windows here. And then you can even extend, the smooth quartz slab and these smooth quartz blocks to kind of like meet it like this. So here, here, here. Just extend them backwards a few rows because it will all join together properly. So like this, and then it'll of course be here like this, here, and then that can just extend inwards, and then that will join properly, and then we can place the upside down stone brick stairs like this, and you can see that there is meant to be a separation between the outer roof and the inward roof. Like, you'll have a nice little gap. However, it does you can see on that side, I think that we just have to drop it down another row, but that's okay. So this is overhanging as it should be, and then we can add the upside down stairs and then the regular facing all the way up until eventually that's how we're going to do it. So like, no matter how the roof looks right now, we're going to have it so that it does line up in the same place as the two outer roofs. Like, the stairs will end in the same way. So here, yeah, on the back you can see the difference, but what we will do is or what we can do is, it doesn't need to line up perfectly anyway. We can just add like an extra row here at the middle. It doesn't affect things, and then we can just join it together at the top like this. So that will mean that we just have to do this on this side. I'm doing the edge of the roof because it's the harder part. All we will have to do afterwards is just fill the middle of this in, of course, using the stone brick stairs here. Here, yeah, I think that we're just going to have to destroy that block, right? Am I wrong? Do we have to destroy another? There we go, perfect. And then we have the upside down, then here, just like this. And then we just have to add a few rows of basically just smooth quartz underneath where the roof will go. So you just have to place smooth quartz where... So that it's where the upside down stairs are, and then just extend it left to right. I mean, it also works out to be that it's just one row shorter until you eventually get to these bricks, just like this. And then on this opposite side here, This is going to look good as well. And then we just have to fill the middle of it in, I do believe. I think that then that will be it. And then the actual, what I would refer to as the house is complete. But we're going to be doing the outside too, because I think it'd be a shame to not do the outside, because it will take a long time. Actually, it is quite varied, but I think that it'll absolutely be worth it. And I do consider, and now all we have to do is just connect these two sides together. I think I'm going to start with the bricks up the top. So yeah, this tutorial will also include all of the outside. What this does not include is the inside the house. So when it comes to the inside of the house, I haven't even designed it, as I quite oftentimes find that when I make interior tutorials, when I make a house with an interior, people aren't usually that bothered. Like, people, I find that, like, the people that ask for the interiors, like, some people, like, they build the interior, like, block for block and such, but a lot of the times people just ask for the interior and then they just make their own anyway. So, you know, especially like if you're building this in survival, which you might be. I mean, if you'd be an absolute insane person probably, although it wouldn't be that hard to do. Obviously the constraint is quartz, but it's not that hard to find quartz, as I've discovered myself. It is possible, large quantities of course, you know, not the, as you're in the nether, little bit tricky, but quartz isn't so difficult to find. It's definitely not a survival, it's not like a starter house, of course, but it's not like it's only made out of essentially two or three materials, really. So these would get extended, but let me see. So this would get extended back here, and then this would get extended back here, and then that would mean that these would get extended back an additional row, I think. I can't remember how the math works out with this, so let's just extend a few rows of, so this will go here, and then destroy that, this slots in there, and then what about this row of stone brick stairs? This extends across, and then there we go. It's actually, it would be every other row. That's how that would work. So destroy that. Here we go, and then this is how it's going to look. Very, very happy with this. I mean, if you want to design your own garden and such, by all means, have at it. You'll have a great time. There's loads and loads of land, especially if you stick within the perimeter. If you go beyond the perimeter, then obviously you've got as much room as you could possibly need. But just within the boundaries, I mean, the house is actually huge and the gardens are huge. So I don't think that there's anything that we're particularly missing that's not decorative. So that's how we are going to leave off this part of the tutorial, I think. Yes, I mean, yeah, all we've got to do is add some, like, details to the garden areas. We've got to add some lanterns. We've got to add some plants. We've got to add the front door. And then we have, like, all of the additional structures on the house that we have to make. Excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so for that next part, by the way, I just had to have a little voice break. I mean, I didn't realise how long that we'd been at that. Almost an hour. For this next part, we have to grab the dark oak doors, leaves, grass blocks. I'm using peonies because I like them, but any flower that you like specifically, tall ones are better. Lanterns, oak fence, smooth quartz stairs, grey concrete, and white tulips. We're going to need a lot more than this as we progress, but for now, this is what we are going to be using. So what are the purposes of these things? So first of all, left and right of the entrance here, I'm going to add a grass block inside of these planters, which is what these are, and I'm going to add peonies in here, just because I think that they look nice. I want to add 2 more planters of the exact same variety. So these are in between the windows of the middle of the house. So literally 3 rows of, or 4 rows of 3, essentially, sort of. You guys get the idea. Using your smooth quartz stairs, we want to create a circle using a row of 3 smooth quartz stairs, and it wants to be placed in front of the center of the window. We're going to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves extending upwards like this, and we want this on both sides. So once again, right in the middle of the window, 1, 2, 3, and then just make a circle out of that. Each one of the sides wants to be 3 rows, and then a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves extending up from the center of that. That looks really good. Very, very happy with that. So what else do we want to do out here. So on the front of the house, you may opt to add some lanterns to it. So I'm thinking more so above the center, or more so above, like, kind of like the middle. I shouldn't say the center, kind of like the middle-ish part of the house. So when I say the middle, not literally the middle, like this is, I imagine the house split into three, like 1, 2, 3, like the outer, middle, and the center. So kind of like this middle area, some lanterns hanging off the tops of the windows. I'm going to do the same on the back as well, just while I'm at it, kind of like just hanging in between or off of all of the outer parts of the windows, looking really good here. Perfect. And then just flipping back to the front of the house now. I want to add a front door that is going to be made out of 2 dark oak doors, just like this. I think that that contrasts nicely against everything else that we have. What about the balcony area here? I suppose we can call it a balcony area. I want to have a set of oak leaves. They're going to be rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, gap, 1, 2, 3, gap, 1, 2, 3, gap, 1, 2, 3. In between these oak leaves, I'm going to have oak fence. And atop the oak fence, I'm going to place lanterns, just like this. I think that that looks pretty good. We're also just going to have... Oh, I want to hang a couple of lanterns just left and right of the entrance here as well. And I want to create a little bit of a seating area. So I don't really mind how you do this. And if you want to do it in the same way, I think I'm going to leave a gap of 2 here and here, and I'm just going to be right next to the window, and that equals a row of 4 quartz stairs, and so 1, 2, 3, and that is pretty much almost in the center. I think it's almost 2 rows away from everything, and then a little table just like this, and then you can put whatever you want on it. So I'm keeping it simple. That's exactly what I want to have. So other than the big things, because we are going to be adding the big things as well, of course, we're pretty much done on the front. If you like, you can add hedges. So I would add hedges on the sides, the left and right, if you want to have them. So just along these sides of the house like this. Why wouldn't I add them to the front? Because it would cover up the upside down stairs in between the windows, which would completely revert the reason for having the upside down stairs in the first place. So just like this. I wouldn't extend the leaves backwards so that they run along the side of this pedestal that we've kind of like created here. I think that I did a similar thing on the opposite side, so here. And now that we've added all those details specifically to the front of the house, we are going to alter the back of the house a little bit as well. So on the back of the house, and I want to get the picture up properly, we are going to add, first of all, some leaves. So that's why I didn't want to extend these any further, because we're going to have leaves extend across the edge of this platform, leaving a gap of 2 at the end. So that equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like this. And then we're going to extend this inwards, and we're going to join it like so. So if this makes sense, we kind of want to make an area that looks like this. And then we want to have 2 rows out in front of the windows that are just quartz. But then these remaining 4 rows towards the end here, these are going to be turned into grass. A smarter person wouldn't have filled this in with quartz and would have saved themselves a little bit of trouble. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those smarter people, and I just filled it in haphazardly with quartz. But this is going to be turned green, and I'm going to fill this in with white tulips. Why white tulips, you ask? They're the most neutral white flower that I can think of in both shape and colour. Like, they're just neutral, as opposed to things like in the white variety, like the azure blurts are quite interesting to look at, as are lily of the valley. They're different shapes. They've got quite a unique shape to them, and the daisy has yellow. So the most neutral white flower in my mind is white tulips. That's why we're using it. We want to have the same thing on the opposite side, of course. So on the opposite side, we want to start off with a row of leaves. It wants to come all the way over, leave a gap of 2. It wants to extend across, and then it wants to extend inwards. So just like this. We're going to leave a gap of 2 from the entrance like this, and we're going to dig out all of this and turn it into grass, just like so. So here, 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 and here. And the reason that I'm telling you my reasoning for using the white tulips is because if you want to use a colourful flower, you should use it. Like, there's nothing particularly special. That's literally why I'm using it, because there's nothing special about the white tulip. You feel free to use one that you prefer. Like, my favourite Minecraft flower is probably poppies, but I don't want them to really stand out, so that's why I'm not using them. So use whatever you like best. What else? We have to add a little bit of an area at the front here. So basically, on the sides of the modern windows and the area in between the modern windows and the entrance, we're going to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves like this, and then we're going to extend across and join together in the same area here. And then we're going to dig this out and we're going to replace it with grass again. So once again, if somebody was smarter, then we could have saved ourselves some trouble. That person, by the way, is me. If it's not obvious, the person that should have been smarter is me. So we're going to add all of these, and it makes such a large difference. Like, when you look at it, such a large difference. I really like that. These can have doors, by the way, if you like. You can add doors to these entrances. The dark oak is a stark contrast to what we already have. I'm thinking now whether we want to do the back of the house, as we're here, you know? We're kind of like here on the back of the house. It's a little bit less complicated than the front, so I'm thinking that we might actually do the back of the house. So I'm actually going to think about this for a second and figure out completely all the materials that we need before I just start babbling. So for the back of the house, and we will need more things of course as we go on, but predominantly we're going to be using chiseled quartz, smooth quartz slabs, white tulips again, oak wood planks, polished andesite stairs, polished andesite slabs, water, and some sea lanterns. So grab all of those, they were in the item list, and then we can get started. So, the way that we're going to mark this out is the center of the platform that we have. Platform is probably the best word for it. I've been trying to figure out exactly what to call it all this time. It's kind of a platform. So, the platform has a middle area, which is all of this quartz. Take the left side and dig a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 in the ground. Fill it up with chiseled quartz block like this. Extend it to the right and join it to the opposite side of the platform, just like this. Perfect, that's one area. This area itself, by the way, we can even add it now. The grass inwards, at the top here, we're going to have a chair, which is going to be made out of andesite stairs with a slab on the end. We're going to have 2 rows of smooth quartz in between, and then another chair. Gap of 2. Another chair, 2 smooth quartz, another chair, and that is how this is going to look. Except for the fact that we're going to dig out the center of this and turn it into chiseled quartz block. If you like, you can make this a little bit more complicated by adding some carpet and such, but I'm keeping this build fairly monotone, really. So, on the left side and the right, but we're doing the left side first, we're going to extend this platform further. An additional 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This isn't really a platform now, we're kind of at ground level, but we'll call it platform regardless. So we can fill this in with chiseled quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to extend all the way over to the left by 8, so we're going to dig out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill this in with chiseled quartz. We're going to place a smooth quartz slab on the end of this 8th block to signify that this is kind of like the end. 1 row inwards, we're going to dig a block out, and then we're going to dig all the way over to the left, and we're going to join. And then we're going to fill this in using chiseled quartz block like this, and this is the area that we are left with. You can kind of, so where we have the stairs, like this area is all going to be like chiseled quartz, right? And you can even kind of like mark this out. So just left of the stairs, I'm going to have a row of chiseled quartz here to kind of like mark that out. I want to have 3 rows of tulips extending outwards from like the end of the platform. Then the rest of this area can actually be dug out completely and filled in with chiseled quartz. So just like this. So all this all this grass is going to be chiseled quartz. all of this grass here, not glass, specific, I said the R this time, all of this grass is also going to be chiseled quartz. And this is ultimately going to lead to a... How can I best describe it? It's kind of like a decking area. Whoa, what happened there? It's going to be kind of like a decking area. It's actually going to be a nice... It's going to have a pagoda, some decking, and just some more kind of like lounging chairs. Speaking of lounging chairs, this area has some too. So, made out of polished andesite stairs again. From this corner here, if you extend inwards and place 2 andesite stairs, leave a gap of 2, and then 2 andesite slabs, gap of 2, and then place on the end, kind of like, actually, maybe this has to be 1 row inwards in relation to, yeah, okay, so we're going to shift all of this 1 row inwards, so just destroy the ends here, like add another block on the end, and then you want to be 2 rows away from this, and subsequently like 1 row away from this as well, so... This is how it will look, and then that way it's kind of like perfectly centered here on the left. Not so much here on the right, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's perfectly fine. So now that we have done that, we are going to shift our attention to this right side a little bit. So on this right side, it's not completely dissimilar, but it is dissimilar. So on the right side, we're going to take this chiseled quartz here, and we're going to extend it a further 1, 2, 3, 4. Same as we did on that side, so we can extend it outwards. We then want to extend to the right by 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we can fill all this in. This last block here, we're going to turn into a smooth quartz block. We're going to extend that smooth quartz block all the way over to the right. It will line up with the platform behind. You can dig in the ground and you can join it using a row of chiseled quartz like this. So, like so. And you can even do like the same, so like the start and the end of the smooth quartz, you can join it just like this. We want the same 3 rows of white tulips that we have on the opposite side as well, so just like this. We're going to dig below these tulips and we're going to join to this pool, and we're going to have these rows here. These are going to be chiseled quartz. The rows to the left are all going to be chiseled quartz. The difference from this side to that side is the fact that there is no... Well, it is kind of like a lounging area. It's more pool, essentially, but the pool has 2 different levels. So on the left side, we kind of have like a dry lounging area made with decking and a pagoda. On this side, it's basically just like a higher part of the pool, and I don't know, it's just kind of like cool. It's a cool part of the pool, if we want to rhyme, which I do. So there we go, perfect. So what do we want to have next? We want to have the same seats that we have over there, just over here. So quite simply, if we just take the end part here where this kind of like extends inwards, forms an angle, we want to leave a gap of 1, stairs, oh, they're not stairs. And then we leave a gap of 2, slabs, gap of 2, stairs, just like this. So the exact same that we have on the opposite side. You can see how that levels out. Then we want to focus on the smooth quartz that we placed earlier. We actually want to extend the smooth quartz down by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should be 2 rows away from the end of where the wall is going to be. Extend the smooth quartz all the way to the left. And then we're going to use smooth quartz slabs. We're going to use smooth quartz slabs. We're going to extend all the way over to the left. And we're going to join to this slab that we placed earlier. And hey ho, look at what we've done. Perfect. Giant pool area. So what we can then do is we can kind of like mark out. So this is the upper part of the pool, right? So you can mark this out either with slabs or you could even use chiseled quartz or something similar to that. It doesn't really matter what you use. So that's kind of like the higher pool area. And I'm going to dig this out and I'm going to replace the bottom of this. And perhaps even the center of this, I'm going to add some sea lanterns. That's what the sea lanterns are for, by the way, is for the actual center of the pool. If we can find it, we'll add that last. So first we'll like refloor the pool. Usually, I'm sure as you guys might know if you've ever watched my tutorials before, for pools I usually like to use like glazed terracotta, but I'm keeping this really muted. As I mentioned, I use the word monotone, but it's not really, monotone is not really the right word, although it's not too far off. Monochromatic. It's not quite monochromatic. Monochromatic basically means different shades of the same colour, basically, just one colour. This is kind of like two-tone. It's pretty much white and grey, the whole thing. So, I get, what would you call that? Like, bichromatic, duochromatic, however you want to say it. But the idea is that I'm not trying to make things too colourful. I want the design of the house to kind of like shine, rather than just like make it all like dead bright and colourful. I want it to kind of like stand alone. Like the cool thing about if you've ever looked at say like a monochromatic picture, something that's just made out of one colour, like you've really got to make it interesting for it to like work well. And hopefully that's something that I've achieved with this house. Is hopefully the design of it is so nice that it doesn't really matter that it's just made out of one thing. So like whenever you see, like I've seen a few of these on YouTube, you might have yourself as well if you're into building like houses, like dirt mansions and stuff. Like seen plenty of people do those. Like some of them are absolutely awesome, and the reason is because the design of them is great. Like they're made literally just out of dirt, but because the design is so cool, like it almost doesn't matter. Obviously it might be better if you use multiple materials, but because the design is so cool, like it almost doesn't matter. And hopefully that is something that we've somewhat achieved here. Although thinking about it, I guess it is like white, grey and black. So black being the windows, but for the matter, I think that you guys understand what I'm saying anyway. I guess that I'm just rambling on. Although there isn't too much to talk about, despite the fact that, I mean, all we're doing here right now is we're digging out the pool, and I'm going to replace the base of this with chiseled quartz as well. So if it's too much chiseled quartz for you, feel free to swap it to light grey concrete. Feel free to swap it to just smooth quartz. Whatever you like. Andesite you can use, obviously that's a material that we've used at the back here as well. But I'll leave that up to you. So what we then have to decide is, there's actually two things that we have to do, other than add the water, of course. I mean, every pool should probably have water. I wouldn't like to jump in it without the water. Imagine cannonballing straight into the chiseled quartz. That's got to be pretty painful. So now that we've done this, I want to add some like stepping stones in between this area here at the top. It's kind of a cool little feature of the pool. I really like this. I think it's kind of fun. So like in between this area at the top, I like the idea of having 3 2x2 square. I think it works out this way. Yeah, perfect. 3 2x2 squares of quartz slabs, and then you can kind of like just hop in between them. I think that that's kind of cool. And there is a definite center to the pool. So you will find that, how many rows will it be? Hang on, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's mark this out, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Perfect. So you can have this. You can have it so that there are... No, you can't. That doesn't work out, does it? Oh, that's unfortunate. So, no, there isn't really a center. So, like, there's 4 rows this side, and then there's 3 rows this side, unless you elongate the pool, which I wouldn't recommend, as I've kind of like built it this way. But I guess that you can't have, you can't really have like evenly placed sea lanterns in the pool. But my idea was going to be this, like if there was indeed a center of the pool, but you could have rows of 3, like instead of 2, you can have rows of 3. So like it'd look like this. I don't know if this will even look as good, but 3 rows away from the top and bottom, and 2 rows away from the edge, and also 2 rows away from each other, it should work out that you can have a series of sea lanterns. So they should be evenly dispersed pretty much in 2s and 3s along the pool. So the last sea lantern should be 2 rows, if I've made this correctly, yeah, perfect, 2 rows away from the large part of the pool here, and they should, if we have a look at it now, yeah, they're perfectly placed here, and then up in the top, I mean, how we've got 3 rows to the side here. Up at the top here, it actually works out perfectly. It's 3 rows all the way around it. So this is what we can have, and then we can just fill this in with water, of course. I don't know, perhaps if the chiseled quartz makes. Yeah, I mean, you can still see the chisel quartz, so it does kind of like make a little bit of an impression in the bottom of the pool. But if you did want to go for something a bit more drastic, feel free to do so. I'm going to waterlog these blocks here. I'm going to fill the top of this in too. If you want to be able to get into the pool, feel free to add a set of stairs like this if you like. But yeah, very, very happy with that. I mean, it looks tremendous. I really do love how that looks. I think it does add a sense of grandeur to the back of the house. Like it's a very large area. So what are we going to be doing next? So this is very simple. Basically, the square, or it's a rectangle, my bad. The rectangle created in between the edge of the pool and the edge of the platform here, this is going to be dug out. I was going to say, this is going to be dig out. Going to be dug out. We are digging it out, and we're replacing it with oak planks. And then we're going to add the pagoda, then we're going to add a seating area. Feel free to make it much more complicated than this. I'm kind of keeping it to clean and simple. You can add fancy things like, you can add hot tubs, you can add barbecues, you can add a water slide here, you can this, that, the, like, you can add so many cool different things if you like. I'm not adding those cool things. I'm keeping it very, very simple. Don't need the water anymore, so we might need lanterns though. Lanterns and light grey concrete. So the 4 inward corners, I'm going to place rows of, I want to say 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 light grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4 light grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Join it together at the top, kind of like in a square. I keep saying square, it's rectangle. Join it together in a rectangular shape like this. You should also be able to half it. You might even be able to half it the other way as well, but oh, you can half it the other way into a cross, but I actually like it as is. And then we can take the middle of this and we can add seats to it. So if you start off with a table, perhaps like in the middle, just like this, a row of 3 right in the middle, you'll be able to find the middle rather easily. Could even make quite a large table. You could make a 3x3. Then you could leave a gap of 1, and then you can have like 2 lounging chairs either side. You can hang above where maybe above the empty space in between the chairs and the table. You can have lanterns, and that's all we're going to have. If you wanted to, you could add heat lamps out here. You could add, like, say, the barbecue, like I said. You could add all sorts of fun things, like a water, all sorts of stuff. But again, I'm keeping it nice and simple, just like this. Very, very, very happy with this. Yeah, that's perfect. So on the back here, what else do we want to have? So on the back, I mean, we've actually done it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think, as I look at it, I'm just going to take one more big look, zoom out. That is actually the entire back made. Very happy with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a wall along the boundary of the house. So this is the concrete grid of the house. I'm going to add a big giant wall, and I'm going to extend it along the back and both sides of the house. I don't think I'm going to extend it across the front, so like I'll head over here. By the way, the wall stops 2 rows ahead here, so all the way over to the opposite side as well. We're going to have this, leaving a gap of 2. That's because we're going to add a little street. We'll probably do that next. We'll add the road, and then we'll add the proper boundaries to the house, like we'll add more wall. But the back of the house, very, very happy with this. That looks awesome. Love it. And then as we come to the front of the house, okay, perfect. So the front of the house. First of all, I'm not going to grab everything that we need just yet, but we will need, he's not going to grab everything as I try to figure out what we need drastically. We definitely need the smooth stone. We need the smooth block of quartz. We will be needing grey concrete. We'll also be needing quartz slabs. We'll need smooth quartz stairs. We'll need some water, some sea lanterns. And then we will also be needing some flowers, so some peonies. We might even need the grass block again. So, 2 rows in front of the house are dedicated to a pavement or sidewalk or whatever you want to call it. 2-legged walking area. You know what? I shouldn't say 2-legged because dogs exist. Any legged walking area, even if you don't have legs. I guess snakes don't have legs. It's a movement area in front. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a pavement, all right. It's a sidewalk. I don't know what I'm even. These 2 rows are going to be pavement, and then we just have to figure out where the wall stops. So we're going to have the wall here, of course. It's only 1 row high. Didn't want to make it too high. It's going to have a gap of 4, I do believe. So this gap of 4 is going to correspond with where we have the entrance. So you see those 2 doors there, gap of 2, and then a gap of 1 either side. Gonna dig out these 4 rows here in the middle. Gonna turn this into grey concrete. So kind of like this is gonna be a little driveway. Now I believe you can extend this driveway 4 rows inwards, so like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I believe you can extend it 4 rows inwards. I so hope that I'm right about this, otherwise we're going to have to change this. So 4 rows inwards. And then the driveway itself, so you can take this 4th row and you can extend it out to the left and right. And you should be able to line it up with the middle part of the house that I kept talking about earlier. So like the middle part of the house being the in-between area. So like this, it should line up perfectly. And then it should be, and I'm really hoping I've not got this wrong, that you have 3 rows of roads. So like we have to dig out 2 horizontal rows of grey concrete here. Should work out this way. Notice, I do keep saying should. I so hope that I'm correct. I really do. I've already said that, but... so we have these 3 rows, right? We should also be able to have 3 rows extending from just the edge of the... What do we even call this? Like the entrance area here. So like 1, 2, 3. We should also be able to have 3 rows of road that are equal in length to the rows of road that we just placed like at the front of the house. And this should then kind of like give us the dimensions for the... I guess this is a courtyard, right? So this is a courtyard, I would describe it as. It gives us the dimensions for the center of the courtyard, which has a lovely little water feature and a couple of, a little bit of a garden-ish sort of thing as well. So, it should also be that we have 3 rows, I do believe, of road in the set. Actually, we'll do it this way. So, you can see these 2 planters here that we have in the middle part of the house. We want to be able to leave a gap of 7. Actually, the 7th block is where we need to start. So, you want to count 7 rows from the corner of these planters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you should be able to place a quartz slab. There should then be a gap of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then another quartz slab. Oh, phew. We've done this perfectly. Excellent. So, these quartz slabs can be extended across. And they will be even and level with the edge of the planters. Perfect. We've done that just right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy about that. So, on the outsides of these rows of quartz slab, we want to have rows of stairs. These rows of stairs should be 5 on each side. Actually, yeah, 5 on each side. So that's row of 5, and then we want to extend 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we want to make a circle. In the circle, I'm going to be placing peonies because I really like them, honestly. So we want to do this on both sides. So a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then across here and here. And then we're going to place our peonies just like this. Then the middle of this can be dug out. So in between this is where the water feature comes in. I think I mentioned that there's going to be a water feature. So the water feature is, I suppose it's a bit boring. The water feature implies like a fountain or something. It's not a fountain. It's basically just water. I suppose it is a water feature in that it's... Oh no, I want to use chiseled quartz. instead of smooth quartz. It is water, and it is a feature, so technically speaking, water feature. But I think of water features as like fountains and stuff. But anywho, we want to fill that in with chiseled quartz. I want to add 2 sea lanterns in the center. That lines up with the door. Underneath the smooth quartz slabs, we're going to place smooth quartz. Same for underneath the stairs. We want to dig out underneath all of these and replace it with smooth quartz, just like so. We want to fill the middle of this in, and we want to use water. Perfect, as it is a water feature. Perfection. We want to join the 2 ends of the road together here. It was 3 rows into. I should have just done that. To me, I have plans, obviously. Like I take screenshots of the builds that I design. I annotate them in such a way that I know how many rows of what are where, and it just so happens that I left the measurement off of them, unfortunately. But it turns out there is 3 rows all the way around. It looked like 2. Anyway, regardless of all that boring stuff, this is what it should look like. Pretty good. So, now that we have done that, something that I do know is that we have to add some smooth stone. Smooth stone is going to be added in rows of... We want to add 3 rows of smooth stone on the left and right sides, and also extending out the top as well. So like 1, 2, 3. So just like this, right? So let me just do the edge of this area, then we'll dig it out, we'll add the smooth stone, and then we will add the garages. There are 2 of them. So 1, 2, 3, like this. And then all the way here towards the back, like this, here, here. Basically just leaving a row of 3 around the left, right, and top sides. And then this leads us into the... making the 2 garages. And then, believe it or not, we will actually be done. After all this time, I mean, it's been a pretty lengthy tutorial. Imagine if the interior was being done with this as well. I mean, quite oftentimes an interior tutorial can take longer than the house. So, probably would be the case with this house as well, because it is so huge. Don't even know how many rooms it has, or how many rooms I think I know roughly how many rooms I would divide it up into. I might even work that out at the end of the video. I'm kind of curious. I could probably fill it. I could probably make a pretty decent interior, but adding it onto the end of this video would be absolute insanity. So here, perfect, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what it should look like, right? On the front of the house, which looks all fine and well by itself. I think that actually makes quite a statement by itself, but not the statement we want. We need 2 large garages. The large garages are made out of smooth quartz block. We need stone brick stairs. I believe that we're going to be using stone brick slabs as well. We need a couple of them. Lanterns, and that might be it. Don't quote me on that, but that might be it. Perfect. So we have 1 garage on one side, 1 garage on the other side. We take the area, so like the front corner of the smooth stone area here, we move 1 row backwards, and we want to create a row of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 smooth quartz. We then extend it towards the front of the house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down. And then once more, we take the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we extend it down. This will leave us 3 rows of smooth quartz that will allow us to walk to the side of the garage. The sides of the garage want to be 9 rows. Like, we want to extend them 9 rows, I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's right. They join and connect to the wall. I should have just said that, actually. That would have been easier. The sides of the garage want to be as high, if not a little bit higher when we get to it, as the front of the garage as well. So both of these rows want to get extended up. Join it together at the back, of course, like this. Wants to be as high. We then want to fill the inside of the garage doors in using stone brick stairs. I'm going to take the middle of the garage, the 2 separators. So this is a double garage. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's a large garage, but it's actually 2. We have 2 double garages, so fit for 4 cars in total, like this. Then we're going to add stone brick slabs along the top, like this. And then we're going to extend the slabs across so they hang off 1 row. And then in and up, in and up, in and up until we get towards the back. and then hanging off the back here, and then in and up, in and up, in and up, in and up, in and up. Perfect. Should connect to what I like to call the double apex. So like here, basically just an even number. We want the same row of quartz on that side as we will have this side. We will take the stone brick slabs and we will extend them. And then that is the roof fundamentally. It'll actually make it an easier job for us if we grab the stone bricks as well. And that'll allow us to make half of the roof rather easily. And then we will just simply struggle with the other half of the roof. It's not really a struggle. It's easy still, but it's easier if you use bricks. So just like this. Oh, not like that. That'd be bad. So here, just like this, and then we add the stone brick stairs in between the two sides of the roof, just like this here and here, and ha, and also ha as well. Add the stone brick slabs in between the top. And the only thing that we are going to be missing when it comes to these garages is the lanterns. And we will have to do something a little special to hang the lanterns. So on the front, I'm not so bothered about the back, but on the front, like on the corners and the middle separation of the garage, I like the idea of just extending a slab down and then lanterns hanging off. Perfect. And that is one garage. And if you were thinking to yourself, wow, that really has improved the front of the house. That looks awesome. If only there were two. Let me tell you, there's another one. So literally on the opposite side, you already know, I've said that like 10 times anyway. Imagine your surprise when I told you what the exact same thing that we were going to do, and we actually did it. So on the opposite here, this corner, we want to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 smooth quartz. We want to extend it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a separating block, and then add another row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that is the end. We want to extend both walls to the outer wall, so they want to be as high as the front of the garage. When it comes to the front of the garage also, we are going to add a row of block of quartz here. And then we're going to add the stone brick stairs, which are going to look like garage doors. If you want fancy looking garage doors, you can add such things as tripwire hooks to them and all that sort of fun stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm going to add the roof, which is of course you guys know how the roof is made by now, and I'm also going to preemptively add the lanterns to the front of the roof as well, so that has to overhang and then down and then lantern, lantern, lantern. Whoop, there we go, perfect. And then we can make the edge of the roof here. I'm going to do it in equal. Oh, we've got to do the back. I completely forgot about the back wall. You can add entrances into the garage. I suppose I shall cover that when we actually get to it, but I thought that I just decided to blurt that out. I don't even know why, but we will be adding 2 little entrances. I'm not going to do the insides of the garage because there's no point really. That would be included in the interior tutorial, which doesn't exist and might not exist. I'm not quite sure. As I mentioned, I'm very, very apprehensive to do interior tutorials because they don't get anywhere near as many views as the actual house itself, and they take honestly more time than the actual house itself to design. And I don't know, like a lot of times people are just like, I just design my own interior anyway. So yeah, it would take like a particularly special amount of like attention for this video for me to do an interior. It's literally not the only thing that I have in my head when it comes to it. I could even add something cool like a wine cellar or something to it as well, so this house looks like it'd have one. Anyway, this house would have to get a particularly insane like amount of views or likes or comments, or a mixture of the 3 for me to consider the interior. The only thing I have kind of worked out in my head is the like the room structure. That's pretty much it. So these are the 2 garages, and honestly, like they really do add to the house. Like I think that's like they're an awesome addition to this mansion. I think that they're really, really awesome looking. I think that it really fills in the front garden. Last 2 things, I promise. This is all that we have left. Gonna add 2 rows of 3 smooth stone. This is going to lead to the edge of the garage, or to the edge of the property actually. And then on the ends here, I'm just going to add two entrances. So one for each garage. If you want, you can floor the inside of the garage with something. Maybe garages oftentimes have like a different floor completely, like not even like a stone floor, like it looks shiny and stuff. So perhaps some sort of concrete would look nice, or maybe you could go off the rails and use some diorite or something. I don't know. I don't know what I would do, quite honestly. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. The only thing that I'm contemplating adding, just so that the house doesn't look hollow, is I'm contemplating filling in the floors using some light grey concrete, and then perhaps filling in the windows. So behind them perhaps adding some black, because that would be a really stark contrast, or blue. So I think I'm just going to add like the floors in. If you're wondering where the floors are designed to be, it's directly underneath the windows, pretty much. So like underneath the windows on the ground floor, underneath the windows on the second floor. I'm going to fill in the floor, I think. I'm also going to add a colour behind the windows, either black or blue of some sort, I think. And then we can have a good tour of this house. I can't believe we've done it, guys. I can't believe it. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what your mansion will look like once it has been 100% fully completed. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't enjoyed the tutorial, I at least hope that you have enjoyed the outcome of the tutorial. If you have enjoyed it, please do remember to hit that like button. It really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. If you would like to make anything else by me, I have loads of different things running on the channel at the moment. Huge houses like this, survival series. I have city builds as well. All sorts of fun stuff. Check it out. Card system, description below the top of the comment section for more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.